a good old dirty dance floor makeout. You are worthy of it. Okay? That's it. I'm worthy of a mofo div mo tonight. Namaste. It's gonna happen. Okay, hi sluts. Pussy, mind, body, spirit, soul. What is slut camp? Let's get into it. Blocked immediately. Welcome back. Hi, my sluts. Welcome back to a new slut edition. I can't figure out if I like slut edition or slut edition of Slut Camp. I hope you enjoyed the last two little mini episodes, and I hope that you are salivating for more. Mama is back, here to deliver. And is this a heavy package? Yes. The girlies are getting ready to go out to pop your pussy on the dance floor. Whatever you're doing this weekend, whatever you're doing tonight, when you listen to this, your slut affirmation for tonight, this weekend, right now, is I am worthy of a mofo diff mo tonight, this weekend, right now. A mofo diff mo. Let me break it down. I don't think I need to break down mofo. A motherfucking diff mo, DFMO, dance floor makeout. A good old dirty dance floor makeout. You are worthy of it. Okay? That's it. I'm worthy of a mofo diff mo tonight. Namaste. It's gonna happen. As we left off last episode, I decided to talk about two very interesting key players in my dating experience here in New York City, going by the names of blue collar and white collar. Now, this is another post-breakup kind of ladder story. First, I think we need to take a shot. Yes? We're taking a shot before I tell this story because it's deserving of one. Cheers. Happy whatever day you're listening to this. I'm worthy of a mofo diff mo tonight. Ooh. This always tastes like a melted Bath and Body Works candle. Kind of about it at first and then not about it at all. Okay, let's get the fuck into it. We're cooking. This is how it starts. I meet this man on Hinge. Like bleeping out Hinge. We match, we go on a few dates. It's great, whatever. Sex is good. The man has an UGG comforter, a Brita on the ground. Shocking. Both things check the boxes, girls. UGG comforter in the middle of winter. Ugh, it's like, give me a ring now. He's good. Literally is like super fucking clean. Like when I tell you I walk in this man's room, he has like every shirt folded, every pair of pants folded. Everything is like organized. And his little cabinet, like his medicine cabinet, like everything. Like it was a little OCD, but it was like in a cute way. Like, you know, like men do like one thing and you're like, that's so cute. But if like a girl did it, you'd be like, okay, cool, whatever. It was like that. I went to his place like a few times. He was great, whatever. We would hang out all the time. We like got high and saw the Puss in Boots movie. Like we were traditionally like going on dates, but no one was saying anything. He was in sales, okay, at a really big company that is like very well known. At the same time, I'm talking to this other guy. Complete fucking opposite of the spectrum. He's a construction worker who lives in Brooklyn and he's like super fucking Italian, like lives in a brownstone, probably with his mother. Come to find out, that was true. We start talking. We go to this like, mind you, first date with sales guy is at this like well-known cocktail bar in the East Village everyone fucking goes to. Meanwhile, first date with construction worker is hole in the wall chicken shop. The construction worker like mecca. A lot of them there. So essentially we have a white collar and we have blue collar. I don't know if that's like PC, but that's what I called them. And all my friends knew them as white collar, blue collar. They coincide at the same time. The story makes sense with both of them. They're both involved. Obviously they don't know about each other. Why would they? Blue collar. On our second date, I go to a dive bar near his house. Mind you, like he had come to me before, and then he was like, no, I want you to like come to Brooklyn. And I'm at deep fucking Brooklyn. Like if you live in the city, if you know the geography, Brooklyn's fucking huge. Like it was deep. My ass sat on the train for like what seemed like 5 years, and I was going to Egypt. Like it was crazy. I get there, we go to a dive bar near his house, and he says to me, do you want to meet my mom? And I said, fuck yeah, I want to meet your mom. I literally love moms. That's like one thing about me. I'm so good with adults. They fucking love me all the time. So I'm like, yeah, literally, what the fuck? Why not? Like, yes, take 5 more shots. I'm like absolutely fucking hammered at this point. Probably so is he. And we walk back to his house that was 2 blocks away. Go up the stairs. I cannot tell you what me and this woman talked about, but all I remember is she was wearing a Girl Scouts of America t-shirt, and it probably started with that. He's standing on the stairs like waiting for my ass. 20 minutes go by, an hour goes by, I'm not really sure. But I met his mom on our second date, and that was kind of fucking iconic. And he lives like upstairs in his house that they own. It's so Italian, like literally like dead father, like it just came from a fucking movie or book. That plus white collar, like the dichotomy of the two of them was so fucking funny. And my friends would just like eat that shit up. Like I'm like, they're like, oh, when you're seeing blue collar, when you're seeing white collar. There was one night when white collar came over and he slept over, and then in the morning blue collar had texted being like, I'm on a job 10 blocks from you, like what are you doing today, shawty, like whatever. And I'm like, okay, literally come over. So it completely for the bit, both of them, and within the span of 24 hours was so fucking iconic. Unfortunately, both came to a close. Currently, I think blue collar has a girlfriend, so like happy for him, but like unfollowed. Maybe we'll have him on one day because I feel like he would be funny. He posts these like crazy stories. The only way I can describe him is he looks like kind of like a botched like Jeremy Allen White, lip from Shameless, but like 5 years ago. Like not really giving, but like kind of also giving. I think that was the attraction to him. He also told me once, because I love like guys who skate, surf, dirty, like mustache, like that is like obviously my vibe. And he had told me one time that he skates, and I was like, oh, I want to watch you skate. And he was like, oh, well, I only skate in the summer. And it was like, okay, I didn't know it's seasonal, but like, okay. White collar ends it with me. I was going to California for a month, so I was like, fair enough. Blue collar, I ghosted because I was like, I'm bored. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just have to accept that you're bored and stop doing it because you don't want to. Just end it. One thing I feel like is very important for the podcast is how, who, what, when, where, why, how did I lose my virginity? Age, 18. For no other reason than, you know, ugly in high school, go to college, look a little better, feel a little bit better. I'm like, why isn't this happening? I am partially insane, and I made this bet with my roommates my freshman year of college. The bet essentially was that the fifth, and I would like to say that I created this bet. No one else, me. They weren't like, Emma, do this. I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And the reward was $20 from each of them. And it was essentially the fifth person that I hooked up with at school, I'd have to lose my virginity to. And I don't know why I created that bet, but I did. And when I commit to something, I commit to it. The bit is now mine. Challenge accepted. I make bets with myself all the time. Tell no one. I kept track of my little notes app, as we've discussed, the list. And we went to a party. We met. We talked. It was a grand old time. We went back to my apartment. My roommate had always been gone in San Diego with her cheating ex-boyfriend. Essentially, I lived alone. And we went back to mine, did it. I said nothing about me being a virgin. I cannot stress it enough that I never had told men anything. First blowjob, first anything. Like, no, I just pretend that I've done it before. It helps soothe your nerves. Also, it doesn't make you think that they're judging you, XYZ, whatever. It happens. I text my friends immediately after he leaves. I'm like, $60, like, hand it over. And sure enough, I got the money, drinks on me the next night. And me thinking in my cute little pure heart at the time, 18-year-old Emma, I'm like, okay, maybe he wants to like go get coffee, or maybe he wants to like hang out more. Like, that was like fun and we like got along. So we get coffee. We talk for maybe like 2 hours and then go back to my apartment. He goes back to his dorm. And I had texted him the following like weekend, and he was like, I'm free after 10 a.m. if you want to do what I think you want to do. And I was like, oh, okay. This is how they work. This is how they operate. The men, this is the brain. I was like, okay, perfect. And I think that is kind of what sent me into this like spiral of like, they don't want to date you. They just want to fuck. That was like the whole thing in college. And it really was. I feel like for most men and also relationships in college, especially freshman, sophomore year, you're in that mindset of like, I'm here to fuck. I'm here to create a roster. I'm here to get through the list. I'll never forget him because, bless his soul, he is partially the reason probably that I'm here today and talking to you about what I know and how I experienced sex in college, basically, which leads me into my first boyfriend. All of my friends know it's such a good story because it is clinically, psychologically insane. It makes little to no sense to why I dated this man and also why my type developed this way. I had this best friend at the time in school. She knew this guy who had a roommate. They were talking one night and basically he had said, I am like looking for a girlfriend, but I like want someone crazy. Like, give me someone crazy. Like, my best friend, like, do you know anyone, like anyone crazy who's down, who's cute, whatever. And so she obviously says me. And we met once. And then I realized, I was like, okay. Because I think at that time I'd only like had a few guys like have a crush on me, have feelings for me, at least like say that to my face. So anyone at that time, I was like, yes, let's do it. It's for the bit. Let's fucking go. So I started dating him. And dating is such like a loose term. I feel like we went on like 2 dates and then he was like, and I fully like quote this from his mouth, are we like Facebook official now? And I don't think as like a 23-year-old person at that time in 2019, we were using Facebook, but so that should have been my first warning, but nonetheless, we persevere. And I continued to date him. I had a radio show at the time. He would come with me to the radio shows and he would like bring his guitar and play. It was beyond concerning, to say the least. The top of the cake, the cherry on top, the icing, whatever the fuck you want to say, he looked like he could be my long lost brother, cousin, or sibling. We had the exact same haircut. Like, I'm pretty sure our hair was the same length. He was just missing bangs. So I don't know if that's like an underlying narcissism in between him or me. I'm not sure, but that was that. I'll never forget this man during final season. I'm stressed as like a communication major can be. I'm studying for one of my finals and he texts me and I could tell that things were like off because we had gone to a sorority formal and he was very off. He was not like having a good time, wasn't vibing, and we had kind of gotten in a fight before. There's so much to talk about with this man, but like, I'm not going to bore you. Basically, this is what's been bored into my head since my first relationship, and it is the most untrue statement that's ever been made about me, and I'll tell you. So he tells me to come downstairs. I'm downstairs. We go outside. We're sitting at a table and he puts his hands on his lap and he looks really nervous and he's like, I wanted to talk to you. I fucking put my fucking feet on the table, cross my arms. I'm like, what's up? Because I literally know it's coming. I know in my psychotic head that this man is about to break up with me. He looks at me and he says, I just don't think that this is working anymore. And I think that we should discontinue. And I was like, okay, why? Like, give me a reason. At first I was like, let me try to like fight for this. Like I can redeem myself. I can get this like situation in order, get it in check. Like I can figure it out. I said to him, okay, what's going on? And he was like, well, the other day when we went to the Grove, I literally can't write this shit, you guys. Like, I don't know. He's like, we went to the Grove the other day and like, I wanted to like dance in the street, like in the rain, and you wouldn't do that. And I was like, in what fucking world would anybody? Okay, first of all, so he proceeds to say, I just don't really think you're very spontaneous or introspective. Yeah, okay. So at this point, I'm like, okay, literally what the fuck? I'm just like looking at him like he has 7 heads. Like, I'm like, I'm not spontaneous or introspective. Did you just spin a wheel of words and pick 2 of your favorite? Like, where the fuck is this coming from? I am the most spontaneous fucking person I've ever known. Borderline scarily spontaneous. I'd say more impulsive. And introspective, bitch. Like, I'm fucking Aristotle. I'm so introspective. I look inward all the time. I don't think you do. So, and then for the rest of my life, up until this point, I'll never forget, you're not spontaneous or introspective. Craziest fucking sentence a man has ever said to me. That's not true, but one of them. So that set a little alarm off in my brain of, holy fucking shit, what are you doing, bitch? Like, you need to get the fuck up and leave. Like, this is a waste of your time. So I'm just like, okay, like, nice fucking knowing you, I guess. Like, bye. Flash forward 2 years later, COVID. I get a text from him basically being like, I'm going to be in LA. Like, what you doing? This man is from the Bay Area in California, if you know. Why do they talk like that? I don't know. It was concerning. But I ended up going back to school and getting my revenge, aka having sex with him, and then promptly getting dressed, and then him asking, where are you going? Saying, I have places to be, people to see, money to spend. Shake his hand. Pleasure doing business with you. So that was my introduction to dating at school. As you can imagine, things are not looking good after that. The very next day, I summoned this man that I had met at a tailgate, and I essentially texted him like, hey, Poppy, like, come over. Like, it's your time to shine. And I got my rebound the very next day. I think a lot of people are like, when should you move on? When should you have sex? Like, after a breakup? It depends on the gravity of the breakup for sure, and how you cope, I think. And for me, that was fuck a bigger dick, move on, next day. And when I tell you, I'm going to be real honest. We're going to get close for a second. Because I think body count is like stupid. I think like men are so like coveted about it. Like, I've hooked up with guys who have been like, oh, my body count's like in the 70s. And like, okay, you're 27. Like, I guess that makes sense. Like, whatever. I essentially tripled my body count from the second that he told me I was not spontaneous or introspective. I was like, I'll fucking show you spontaneous. I went from the number I was at to essentially 15. You do the math. So once I did that, and then going through college, I experienced several penises, several balls, several tears, until we enter the whole era. And this lasted probably from 2019 to the end of 2020, when I got in my long-term relationship, my first and only so far. And we call it the whole era. I've mentioned it earlier. The whole era is essentially my fuck girl era, but I hate to say fuck girl because it's more so just like exploring your sexuality in a way that is like teamed slutty. When in reality, it's like, no, I'm doing exactly what you're doing. You just don't talk about it and like make it a bit and it's funny. Like everything that had happened to me throughout college sexually was fucking hilarious. Like there was not one thing that wasn't like a joke, a bit, a story with my friends. So never back down on a challenge, even if you created the challenge to prove a point to literally no one. That is the moral of the story of the virginity, okay? Take that away. Be slutty because no one else will, but you will. And you'll be better for it. That is just my manifesto in college, my virginity. Now that you have a little bit more of an introduction to who I am and how I cope with breakups. I'm just kidding. Kind of. The next thing I want to get into is this like weird fucking era of dating because of the C word, COVID, and how between the ages of 20 to 22, which is how old I was when I experienced COVID. So I was like a junior in college. I'm sent home after 2 years of basically living on my own laws. I'm having to go home and be under my parents' roof. That was obviously detrimental to my mental health, and probably everyone else's can speak for that too. And living in a new city, being in a new place, dating, it feels so weird because people getting in relationships. Like I have so many friends who are getting in new relationships, and just in general, it's like this like innate drive or want to be in a long-term relationship in this like early 20s, like 23, 24, 25, which is fine. But I think a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that we were essentially at home for our early 20s when you're supposed to have this like quote unquote like awakening, slutty phase, Samantha era, whatever you want to call it. And so I honestly feel mentally we're like 22, 21, and legally we should be allowed to party and sleep around, fuck around, whatever you want to call it, if you fucking want to, for at least 3 more years. That's the timeline. That is exactly what I've been doing, what my friends need to be doing. What the biggest piece of advice I've been giving my friends is like, who the fuck cares? Like, you are never going to be this young again. You're never going to be in a new city or away from your parents or kind of without laws, without any sort of guidance from anyone, or I guess you want to say like strapped down or locked down or tied down, as men love to say, than you are right now. You have no laws. You just probably, I mean, if you're listening and you're my age, you just started a new job or you're in your second year of this like corporate job or whatever the fuck you're doing. And it's almost just like, why the fuck am I putting pressure on myself to go find a relationship, to go find a guy that I want to be with forever, when in reality, I'm having a good time going out shaking ass with my friends. And if I end up shaking ass on a dick that night as well, then like call me God. Like, the objective of going out with your friends should always be, I'm going to shake ass with my girls, or for guys, I'm going to shake ass with my guys. And if there's dick involved, then that has to be like a precedent before you go out. So like, for example, our slutty affirmation, Movo Diffmo, that means I'm going out for dick. That is like what my goal is, and that's what I'm going to explore. That's what I'm going to get. If you have that mentality, odds are whatever you look for, whatever you seek is going to come to you anyways. So I think that is what we should do in approaching a weekend out. Decide before you go out, am I going out to be with my girls, or am I going out to find dick? And if I'm going to find dick, I gotta let my friends know. Because this whole concept of being a girl's girl is obvious to some. It's like, oh, you can look at someone and be like, based on 3 actions they perform, oh, they're a girl's girl or they're not a girl's girl. The whole thing is crazy to me. It's like, you're a girl's girl until you have the objective every single time you go out to just be with a guy. and then like fuck all to your friends. That's not fucking right. You obviously put your girls first because men are, say it with me, temporary. Even your husbands, fucking temporary, okay? At least Gen Z seems to think so. No more monogamy. We'll get into that another episode. I have some thoughts. But all of this to say, you did not miss your window of being slutty, and no one should or is going to judge you for being quote unquote slutty. Like I said, this word is being thrown around left and right. We're changing the meaning. We're all going to be slutty and it's all going to be okay. We're going to hold hands, bake a cake, smile, rainbows. End of story. Do it because no one else will, but you will. Okay. Get that diffmo. Get that dick. Because you deserve it. If no one's told you that recently, you deserve it. Okay, so but what do you do? Because all of your friends are getting into relationships. Like I have so many friends who are new in relationships or are finding like quote unquote their person so early on, or are in first relationships or whatever it may be. Me having experienced one, a terrible first relationship that was psychotic, and two, a long-term relationship that was actually really fucking great and taught me so many things that are so boring that I won't go into. But now I'm kind of reverting into this like, wait, I want to be slutty again. It's not slutty. It's just like I want to have fun and I'm not looking for shit because whatever I want or need will come to me when I least expect it. And I hate that fucking saying. It's like, oh, wait for a boyfriend. They'll come when you least expect it. That's not fucking true. It's bullshit. It's when you feel ready, someone else will too. Like I hate to talk about it like it's like woo-woo, but relationships are weird and hard and you shouldn't be just like searching for them, because all that time you're spending searching for a relationship, for someone, for a person, you could be fucking shaking ass with your friends and getting free shots from old men. Okay? So, thank you for listening to this week's Slutdition. I don't know how I want to say this. Slutdition. That leads us into what we're talking about in next episode, which is an old man and my experience with them. So that is what I will leave you with. Get ready for next episode. Shake some ass with your girls. Get a diffmo in if you can. And take a shot. Have a good fucking night. Love you. Bye, sluts. Anyways.